But the return of football came with so much public gratitude that it caught me off guard a little bit, even though I know people love football, but I think of it as pro football. And what's happened is the expansion of the weekend. No, you guys like the escape of all of it. It's no longer just Sundays. You were happy that football was back in any form, that it started at noon, that game day was back, that McAfee was getting drunk in Ireland and making it look like a huge fun party, as it should feel like a huge party. And it just seems rare in this day and age to see just simple gratitude the way the poets talk about baseball when they're Kirkchen's age, but this being like all over the place, people just really excited and positive on social media for the return of something.
In this country, it might be antiquated thought because it's commonly referred to as the four major sports. They say pro football, pro basketball, pro baseball, pro hockey. I don't think that's exactly accurate, and I'll tell you why. I think college football is quite easily the second biggest sport in this country next to pro football. And you don't necessarily get to fully experience that because while you're still basking in the glory of your Saturday, here comes Sunday to knock it out of the headlines. But if it were on a different part of the calendar, we'd be a country that would be kind of divided. What's bigger? What's better? And the numbers, I think, kind of back this up. It's the second biggest sport in the United States.
This weekend coming up is such a great weekend, though, because you don't have the NFL. They're not back until the following week. So you have games starting on Thursday and ending on Monday. Like, it's a great weekend for college football. I will say this. We need to start college football in the United States. I don't like this. Like, Dublin has – Dan, I am serious about this, okay? Start your season in the United States, end your season in the United States. I don't want to hear about it. Dublin does not deserve to get college football's opener. Okay, they don't. And baseball, same thing. I don't want the season to start in China, end in the United States. I want it to start here, end here. Japan, wherever they're playing games. I don't want it. There are sports. Why are we giving the start of our seasons away to different countries? Why? Explain it to me.
You're yearning and longing for FSU Georgia Tech?
You know what? I'm yearning for a college game day that takes place in a place where they're comfortable. That's all. Like, to me, that starts the college football season, and those guys were out in unfamiliar territory.
That was a home game for the punter,
McAfee
right?
didn't look comfortable to you.
No, he did there. He did on his show. He was having a great time, McAfee. He was getting hammered. Like, that looked fun. But College Game Day did not to me. It didn't have energy. I mean, those guys are tired. I don't blame them.
I agree with you. College Game Day left something to be desired, and I think you can have your theories. It's not like there weren't FSU fans there giving Kirk Herbstreit the business, but you could say, hey, you would get the best atmosphere right in front of the stadium. That's when you maximize the people. And maybe, just maybe, this is a theory, that they decided, knowing Kirk's relationship with the FSU fan base, let's kind of pull that back a little bit. Let's go for a great sweeping vista as opposed to the energy.
You don't think this is the power of Saban? Just like his energy? It's going to be toned down now. We're going to be serious. I don't know, because he's not like a guy.
Suck the energy out of it?
He's like the opposite of Pat. I'm interested to hear what he says,
right.
But he's the opposite of Pat McAfee in terms of just looking energetic.
He got high marks for what he was doing.
I saw some clips I liked.
Yeah, I enjoyed his perspective. I did take issue with one segment where they let Nick Saban speak for this upcoming NCAA ruling. I say that in air quotes because you have a collectively bargained thing that's not collectively bargained. And he's just carrying water for the NCAA because he was brought in by Ted Cruz to speak on the merits of, kind of bringing this back to the way that it was. And there wasn't a single dissenting voice on the dais. Keep in mind, I don't know how that got aggregated for me because I tweeted my thoughts on it. I guess because Ted Cruz was included in my tweet, people thought it was political. No, I'm just stating a fact. If you don't know that Nick Saban spoke to Congress as an invited guest about Ted Cruz, I'm not taking a political stance. I'm just showing you whose side he is very clearly on. And for this one major show that aspires to objectivity, for them to not have a dissenting voice and everyone kind of nod along with what the NCAA is trying to do, kind of rubbed me the wrong way.
Give Saban a couple weeks.
Yeah.
I guarantee you before the season's over, his shirt is off.
That's what we need. Because he was giving off the vibes. You know what his office used to look like at Alabama? That's the vibes that he gives off. Yeah. Have you seen what the new coach's office looks like? It's like completely transformed. It's just like that's what I was feeling. Like I liked his content, but there's just something about Saban. It just gives off like brown wood.
Yeah, but they put him right next to McAfee, who doesn't give that off.
Yeah. Right.
And
but he does. No, but he gives it off after 30 Guinnesses. Come on. 30 Guinnesses will
Fair.
make you, and even someone with his stamina is going to have a hard time after 30 Guinnesses getting up on the following day.
I could see Saban, he's torn. You could see it, like he's processing, because he said it himself. I have ripped analysts for preseason predictions, for all that stuff, and now I'm being asked to do it, and I don't want to do it. Eventually, 3 weeks from now, he's going to have to do it.
I saw this funny clip of just Pat McAfee at one point inexplicably barking, and you just see Saban just kind of like jarred by it and like looks to his left like, whoa, this guy's barking.
8-9 weeks, he's going to be barking right along with us.
Saban is still being calculated, saying that he's providing Alabama with reverse rat poison.
Miss Terry was also there, so Nick had to be on his best behavior. Like, you know how that goes.
Yeah.
When you mention, though, Nick Saban and the rules, the fact that he is without rebuttal going out there and just giving you the 78-year-old viewpoint of the former dictator coach, when the Miami of Ohio coach just says flatly, Alabama stole our kicker, the Lou Grosso Award winner, just says it flatly. Now, he says, we didn't lose our kicker. No, I know where he is. We had him stolen by Alabama. What rules are we following? Like, what? I'm dead serious about this. I thought about this with Dion, because Dion is, again, into it with the media, and I was actually thinking, if the media really wanted to, I wonder what the damage would be if the media got together in Colorado and said, we're not covering you anymore. Like, this isn't the way that we're going to do this. We're going to boycott the coverage of you. I don't know if the media actually has any ground to stand on with him. I've heard Rob Parker and some others suggest this as, in defense of the media, but I don't think Dion at this point needs the local media in any way. I think he's playing a bigger game there. But when I see his assistant coach going to Saudi Arabia for NIL money, what rules are we following exactly?
Well, I think it tells you what a bad investment NIL might be for the Saudis to be like, I don't really see the return in this. What are we doing? No. This is.
We found the thing that they're like, you know what? I'm
this
good.
is one thing that they're like, this is reckless spending for sports. I don't think we're going to do this. What do we get from this? We get to say we're good? We don't have any ties to this. This is ridiculous. I don't need a network. I'm a sheik.
Do you think Alabama really had to steal the Miami of Ohio's kicker? Like, you're making it seem like the Miami of Ohio kicker went against his will.
They're a kicker away.
You're at Miami of Ohio.
Historically, kicker has always been kind of like the Achilles heel.
Right.
I am not making the accusation. The Miami of Ohio coach is making the accusation.
Straight up on video, Stugotz. He said they just straight up stole my kicker.
No, I understand that, but they didn't steal anything. He was playing for Miami of Ohio when Nick Saban came calling, and that's that.
Well, no, Stugotz, though, the thing I'm asking, though, is about rules. Like,
there are no rules.
What rules are we following?
They are following. The thing
he
is,
nailed it.
They are following rules.
You.
It's the NCAA likes to pretend like there aren't rules. Everybody still has to submit to the NCAA's rules. They're just not – they don't like the rules. They're allowing them to be, and what they're seeking from Congress is say, hey, just put us totally in charge. Don't have any checks and balances. We know what the rules should be, even though in the courts we're 0 for 24 challenging them.
Is the NCAA basically like a substitute teacher right now?
Toothless.
Like, they're like the authority, but also like if you don't respect them, because like they don't even control the college football playoff anymore.
Right.
So like what are they going to do?
They haven't. That's a sneaky little thing. Like they haven't, and people really should dig into how much influence ESPN has over this stuff, because it started bubbling up to the surface with FSU, and ESPN gets to play a plausible deniability game because it's not the ESPN CFP. Yes, it is. Yeah, it absolutely is. But I do think that you should have dissenting voices and have a nuanced conversation. Maybe that wasn't the place for it, because Nick Saban did bring up points. There are points from this proposal that I think are really good. But also, I'm not for collective bargaining agreements that aren't collectively bargained. Who's the rep for the students? Do they have a union? This thing is just moving along, and it's going to get to the point where they just get rubber stamped by Congress, and now you've given total control of NIL to an entity that at every turn has tried to undo NIL.
Billy, I don't think the substitute teacher has the power to take a game from Kirk Ferentz. I think that there's still some power there. I just don't know. I don't feel like anyone listening to this knows what any of the rules are.
Compliance officers, schools still have to follow them, Dan. The NCAA still is in charge. They're just not getting what they want out of it because they're losing in court. So they want to stop being able to lose in court by just being granted safe harbor status. That's what they're looking for. Now, there's great ideas in their plan to fund non-revenue sports, and any plan that goes forward needs that. But you also need to kind of collectively bargain it with the revenue generators, the football players, the basketball players, and that's not happening.
I feel like if Iowa really wanted to fight for Kirk Ferentz, they could, right? But like this is also like, but what will we look like without him coaching?
Mm-hmm.
The same. They'll just punt.
Well,
a
we
lot.
don't know.
We don't know.
I mean,
We'll
he's always
find out.
there.
We
I
do
mean,
know.
Air raid,
Yeah.
you got Iowa being
We
an
do
air
know.
raid.
Come on. All of a sudden, it's going to break out. It's going to be 6 wide receivers running in all directions.